Good morning, dear students. Welcome to our English lesson. In this lesson, you can learn about the present continuous verb tense in English. We'll talk about all the possible meanings of the present continuous. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, you're sure to find something new. So let's get into it. First, how can you form the present continuous? To form the present continuous, you use be plus verb plus ing. For example, he is washing his car. They are watching a film. What about negatives and questions? To make negatives, add not after be. For example, she isn't doing anything. I'm not working on this right now. Now, to make questions, move the verb be before the subject. Is he doing anything? Are you talking to me? The same rule works if you ask a question with the question words like what, why, or how. Move the verb be before the subject. For example, what are you watching? Where are they going? Now you can see that to make questions in the present continuous, you don't add anything. So don't add words like do or did. Just change the order of the words. So now you know how to form sentence and question with the present continuous. But now, do you use it? But how do you use it? One use is for something happening right now. This is the most basic use of the present continuous. For example, he's washing a car. They are watching a film. These sentences are talking about something which is happening at this moment. Now, we can also use the present continuous to talk about something which has started but not finished. This sound is similar to the last point. If we say he's washing his car, this means he started washing his car, but he hasn't finished yet. So, what's the difference? Why is this separate to the last point? It's different because we can also use the present continuous in this way to talk about things which are not happening right now. For example, I'm reading a good book at this moment. She's looking for a new apartment. If I say, I'm reading a good book at the moment, I don't mean that I'm reading right now, at this minute. I mean that I've started a book and I haven't finished it yet. In the same way, she's looking for a new apartment doesn't mean that she's out looking for an apartment at this minute. It means she starts looking for an apartment, but she hasn't found one yet. In this example, we use the present continuous to talk about things happening around this moment, not necessarily at this specific moment. Next, describing a picture, If you have a picture or a photo and you want to describe it to someone, you use the present continuous. A picture or a photo is like a moment in time. That's why we use the continuous form to talk about it. For example, here we can use the present continuous to talk about what we see. They are sitting on a beam high above the city. The two men on the left are smoking. Some of them are eating sandwiches. It doesn't matter that the picture was taken a long time ago. We can still use the present continuous to describe it. Next, talking about something temporary or different from usual. So another use of the present continuous is to show that something is temporary. Look at these two sentences. He lives with his parents. He is living with his parents. What is the difference? Why would you use the present continuous here? In these sentences, the present continuous shows that the situation is temporary. If you say, he lives with his parents, you mean that this is a permanent. If you say, he is living with his parents, you mean that this is a temporary situation. Maybe he's living with his parents while he saves enough money to get his own place. Let's look at one more example here. For example, she works in the marketing department. She's working in the marketing department. Is the difference clear now? If you say she works in the marketing department, you mean that this is her permanent job. But if you say she's working in the marketing department, you mean that she normally works somewhere else. She's just working in the marketing department temporarily. Next, talking about a changing situation. I understand there are a lot of ways to use the present continuous. Remember that you don't have to learn all of these at once. This video will still be here. Take a break and review what we have done so far if you need to. Now, you can also use the present continuous to talk about a situation which is changing over time. For example, the population of our city is growing by around 5% a year. My English is slowly getting better. The river used to be nearly polluted, but it's getting cleaner. In all of these examples, we are talking about the changing which is happening over time and which will probably continue into the future. If I say the population of our city is growing by around 5% a year, this means that I expect the population to continue growing at least for the next few years. Okay, so you're seeing how the present continuous can be used to talk about things happening now, things which have started but not finished. Describing pictures, taking around temporary situations, talking about changing situations. All of the meanings we have seen so far are similar, They are all about something happening around a moment in time. However, there are also some other ways to use the present continuous which are completely different. Let's look at a very important one. Talking about arrangements in the future, many English learners use will to talk about the future, but will can't be used for everything. Actually, the present continuous is one of the most common ways to talk about the future in English. If you have a solid plan or arrangement, meeting, you know where and or when something will happen, you can use the present continuous to talk about it. Here are some examples. We are meeting outside the cinema at 8 o'clock. They are coming to ours for dinner on Saturday. What are you doing next weekend? It's very common to use the present continuous when you talk about plans for the near future, social plans, and so on. Talking about something strange or annoying. Now we are getting to more specialized, less common uses of the present continuous. Using the present continuous together with the adverbs like always, constantly, continually can show that you find a repeated action annoying or strange. For example, he's always forgetting to bring the things he needs. They're constantly gossiping about me behind my back. My boss is continually interrupting me while I'm trying to work. You mean that he often forgets to bring things, and you find this strange or annoying. This use of the present continuous is unusual because we are using the present continuous to talk about a repeated action or a habit, and we don't normally do that. So you must use an adverb in these sentences. You can't say he's forgetting to bring the things he needs. To give it the meaning of something which you find strange, annoying, you need an adverb. So, always is the most common adverb to use in these sentences. Okay, we are nearly there. One more to go. The last use is talking about the feelings which you are starting to be aware of. Now again, this is a very specialized, less common way to use the present continuous. What does it mean? Think about these two sentences. I realize I made the wrong decision. I'm realizing I made the wrong decision. Now, they are both possible, but what is the difference in these sentences? In the first sentence, I realize I made the wrong decision. Your realization is not a new feeling. However, when you say, I'm realizing I made the wrong decision, you mean that you are just starting to think about this, the feeling that you made the wrong decision is still growing on you. Let's do one more example. I find it difficult to work with him. I'm finding it difficult to work with him. Can you see the difference? again. If you say, I find it difficult to work with him, this isn't something new for you. You generally find him difficult and you dislike working with him. If you say, I'm finding it difficult to work with him, this means that you are just starting to realize how difficult he is and how you dislike working with him. These feelings are new to you, I guess. Okay, that's the end of the lesson. There are a lot of information in this video, so you might find it useful to review some parts of this video again. That's all for you. Thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.